When I've been thinking what killed my creative spark, I realized that it was my biggest enemy, procrastination. And it's very interesting because I also realized that the only way to conquer this obstacle for me is a creative spark. So, procrastination is the thing for me that killed my creative spark. And also, I'm realizing to get out of the constant procrastination, I need to back my creative spark. I felt that my creative spark, well, hopefully not gone, but faded because it's never happened to me before. Usually, and I think till the end of my life, always going to have a problem with motivation and discipline. This is a challenge of mine. I constantly start everything from the new slate, new page, going well, going strong, and have to go downhill to procrastination and sometimes depressive episode even. And I need to rewind myself again and start from the clean slate in order to operate again. But Creative Spark always was easy for me. Creative Spark is a feeling, very, very emotional feeling, desire to do something for the sake of doing. Just an inspiration, just an urge. I want to do something, not for outcome, not for any goal or dream like motivation, unlike motivation, but just for the sake of doing, because I feel fun to express myself and I want to express myself. It's ultimately our inner child, right? And for me, it always came easy, I think, for maybe like three reasons. First reason is just my personality. I'm naturally pretty expressive and I am very impulsive, I'd say. I always like fun. I always very curious, adventurous. I like trying the new things. And number two, I think it's connection of my personality and my background. Also, part of my big part of my personality is I always had some sort of sentiment and melancholy in me, but also coming from very, very dysfunctional family, really, really unfortunate circumstances. I think my life, I would say, till the point of this year, maybe till like maybe 2 years ago, I would say my most of my life was very, very unpredictable. I didn't never had any like foundation on the ground to rely on. I always were like on roller coaster, always on edge, always extremely anxious and scared. And I think the profit always was this roller coaster that kept me like emotional. And when you're emotional and you're very sensitive, which is also part of my personality, you easily get triggered by anything. And it also gives you a lot of resource for this creativity and this spark and inspiration. And I don't know, number three, I think it's just the time, just my age, I think maturing. When you are younger and you're immature, as I said, you are more sensitive just by its nature, and you're experiencing everything for the first time, so you're more reactive. Also, I feel I was romanticizing everything way, way bigger. I just because of the lack of maturity, I couldn't see the things as they are, or at least as I see them right now. I would romanticize everything. I would like put people either on a pedestal or situations either on a pedestal, either like below me. I would also very not stable, and yeah, I think so things not in realistic way. And right now, when my frontal lobe finally developed, I just see things completely different, and with the maturity and wisdom, there is come, less emotions and more of just constructive thinking, which is kind of numb your emotions and your emotionness, and maybe this feeling of a child inside of myself and creative spark and constant reaction on a stimuli outside is also sort of like numb. So I need to figure out the way how to feed my. Oh, that's my cat. Okay, one second. I'll open to my cat. My kitty cat. Good morning. Good morning. My cat is also keep me very emotional. He's very talkative. I feel he's kind of like I adopted him from the street, but I feel he's like half of the Bengal. And I just found out that, which is like really bad of me, that they're very talkative breed. Like it makes sense why Ari always was so talkative, and I even like got mad at him, you know. But now when I know that it's just his breed, it's just who he is, it's, you know, I feel extremely ashamed that I was ever mad for him for that, and I see it differently. I see it as like, oh my god, I'm so blessed that my cat is such a communicative, and it's his nature, and I just like appreciate him for that. It just gave me a very new perspective. But yeah, I feel that some of the ways how I were kept feeding my inner child, my creative spark, was unintentional. You know, it happening sometimes by itself. But right now, I need to find those, you know, conscious ways that I sort of have in my notebook. I keep in mind how to help my child to never lose this creative spark, never lose this inspiration, and how to just feed myself, you know. So I wouldn't say discovered, I know it's the right word. I just put down 8 points that works for me, at least right now, and how I recently get out from my emotional and creative numbness and started to just feel again that I actually want to do something, not just operate like a robot on like my schedule or whatever. And I just thought it might work for you too. So I'm gonna tell you now my 8 ways of how to back your creative spark. So number one thing for me is, I feel the most simple that we all already do and that I was doing throughout my life, not intentionally, is change of routine. Change of routine, I would put things like change of environment, change of schedule, adding a new step or a new hobby in routine. For example, you know, just when I got bored, I usually would switch it up my schedule. If I work out or do certain things in the morning, I would switch them and do it in the evening. Or change of environment. If I, let's say, write at home and I'm kind of tired of that, I'm having trouble to get focused, I find myself constantly on the internet, I would go to the cafe. And for some time it works. But if I find myself that instead of writing in a cafe, I would like grab another coffee or another pastry, then I realize that, okay, I need to change things again, and I go to the library. I'm lucky to have a very beautiful library next to my home, and I would go to library and I would write there, and I have to just repeat this circle, right? Or with like my routine and my workouts, if I'm usually run around the run on the block and back home doing my yoga or Pilates with the weights. But sometimes when I'm tired of it, I would go to classes, to hot yoga, to yoga classes, and it motivates me a lot. Also, what's inspiring when you add a new step to your routine, because you have something to looking forward to, right? For example, for me, I feel 2 or 3 years ago, it was meditation. When I added to meditate after my workouts, it changed tremendously a lot of things for me, because meditation, it's this thing that I talk a lot like in my videos, because it's kind of like was a real life-changing tool for me to regulate my nervous system. And also when you meditate, there's so much inspiration comes and so much just desire, and it's overly, even if it's not seems on the first time, people who tried it knows that it's very emotional thing. When you meditate over like 15-20 minutes, it just, the sense of enlightenment just comes in, and suddenly ideas and feelings and emotions flow. And I remember first time I meditated, I actually cried, which is pretty crazy. Number 2 is physical change. So for me, in physical change, I would include, first of all, which is, I also posted 2 vlogs on my YouTube, one successful, second unsuccessful, but fasting. I'm into fasting for a really long time, since I was a kid actually, and I'd say it started, to be honest, not healthy, like really, really not for healthy reasons. And I'm not gonna speak. 1 second. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. He never knows if he wants to be inside or outside. So I'm basically his personal, how's it called? Doorman? Yeah, the person who closes and opens the doors. Okay, where I were. Oh yeah, fasting. I posted 2 vlogs about fasting on YouTube because it's something that I'm passionate about. And to be totally honest, when I enrolled into fasting, and this feeling was very, very familiar to me, it wasn't healthy for sure, but later on in life, like last maybe 2 or 3 years, I started to do fasting intentionally. I just realized it was very, very intuitive thing, by the way. I wasn't like did my research, which is not really good, but I wasn't doing a lot of research in fasting. I wasn't like inspired by the movie or something at first. I just felt during that summer where was my best summer in my life 2 years ago, when I was like working out and meditating every day, I started to feel how my emotions changed and I started slacking again, and I felt that I need to fast to regulate my emotions. So like everything was great on a physical level, my weight, like I like my body, I was working out all the time, was meditating, but like I felt that my emotions, like my nervous system started acting out or something. So that's how I started to do fasting intentionally and consciously. And besides fasting, just like clearing your mind, clearing your focus on a, I'm not talking about intermediate fasting. I'm more talking about like when you fast at least 2 days. So like on a second day, usually for me, it's clear my emotions, clear my focus, regulate my nervous system, and just give me the clear slate, whether I'm talking about my body or my nervous system or about my mind, which is crazy, honestly. Also, like any sort of intense body exercises experience that really, if you're into this, because I'm 100% into this, you can just try for fun and leave if it's not your thing. But it really works for me because I love it. It's everything that gets me emotional, high intensity. I can go sometimes to hot sculpt, even when it's summer. It's crazy. It's crazy. Hot sculpt, it's great. It's basically really, really intense, or heat workout, right? It's really, really intense workout with the weights, with the different types of weights in a heat. It's a lot. You do it rare sometimes, but it definitely get me in this emotional state. I really feel that when I do like, I don't know, Monday morning, I have an energy and this emotional connection to myself and feeling of desire for like entire week. I also like cold plunge, and I really, really love red light therapy. Especially I go to red light sauna therapy, and it also helps to kind of through your body to awaken this, just emotional state. Number 3, it's get triggered by the media. Get triggered by the outside media, because I can get triggered by my inside thoughts, my, romanticize something, create unrealistic scenarios in my head enough to cry about it. But I intentionally trigger myself with the media. So, how we're sitting scrolling on internet sometimes, and there is some really, really triggering video, whether it's a movie clip or it's something from the real life. I don't know, somebody saved a kitten, somebody saved a human being. I have actually the list of my favorite movies, and they all are like emotional thrillers, emotional drama, something like emotional and intellectual, which is my favorite type of movie, and I have a list of it. More than that, I have a screenshots of the emotional, or maybe not emotional, but things that gave me new perspective, new thoughts. I have a screenshots of it, and I printed it in a small cards that I use for like my writing or for my creative work, to get an idea and to get some sort of, not idea, but the actual feeling of it. Also, I have a page in my notes. It's called actually my resource, and there is more not triggering but inspirational and motivational videos. I have a bunch of links with the small videos that gave me the sense of inspiration and motivation, where I can easily back and rewatch when I need this emotional stimuli. Or also I have a few links with my favorite documentaries, which just gave me a more prolonged effect, like for a day or even 2 days. Like for example, I can recommend a documentary called Human. There is 3 parts. I watched it for the first time when I was 16. And the first part is just amazing. I feel everybody have to watch it. It's pretty much a must-have. It's called Humans, or Human, or The Human. But it's so good. It's like very deep and very important stories about human and humanity. And any other media stimuli like music, for example, right? I intentionally started to listen maybe like a few years ago, a couple years ago. I started intentionally listening music from my favorite movies, music that was, written for the movie. And especially when I write, I put this music on and it instantly gave me this emotional connection with what I actually write. Number 4 is align with your spiritual being, with your sense of meaning. And exact tools, more practical tools, is again meditation, also journaling, which is like I recorded a few videos on YouTube how to start journal and from which kind of questions you can start, which is I think can help you to, first of all, with the journaling, if you ask the right questions, it will help you to discover why you lost your creative spark, right? Because for me, it's procrastination that kind of killed slowly my creative spark. Because when you procrastinate a lot, you sort of postpone everything. You got a desire, you got an urge, and I postponed it, right? Or I would just just basically neglected the desires of my inner child. And I believe in the universe, and whatever you believe, universe, God. I think that when you're neglecting something and not respecting and postponing, the universe just like removing it. They're like, okay, she does not value her inner child, her creative spark, her creative urges. And since she's postponing it, I'm removing them. She's not going to have it longer. Oh my God, my voice is breaking when I'm talking about that. And also more practical advice is that I would recommend you this book. It's called Artist's Way by Julian Cameron. What's interesting about book already, what's interested me, besides so much talk about it on the internet, is that this book written by the ex-wife of Martin Scorsese, and also when I started to read this book, also maybe like a year ago, I was on set sometimes doing exercises for this book. And I swear everybody would come up to me, whether other talents or producer or director, and they would come up to me, a photographer, and like, oh my God, I love this book. This book is like my holy grail. And it's true. This is an amazing book. And this book is specifically, purpose of this book is to discover your inner child and connect to your creativity again. So this book is literally for purpose of discovering your creative spark again. And I would recommend you to buy both a book and the morning pages, because I bought only a book and I thought, you know what, I have tons of journals. But what I meant by that, I was just started to do all the exercises in my regular journal and quickly realized that it's not enough space for it, because the whole book is exercises on connecting to your inner self, and you have to understand that there's also a commitment and a time commitment to do all these exercises, but they're very, very profound, and you and me too need to have a separate morning pages, which is basically just a separate big journal for this one. Yeah. Number 5 is change of the medium. Every artist knows that, and I feel most of the creative people and artists work in a several mediums, which is sometimes can get tricky. And I feel at some point, like I did, we have a conversation where we sit down and like, okay, you like to do this, you like to do that. What is your main thing? What is your actual dream? And what is just an additional thing? What is a hobby, right? Because for me, I always was ashamed that I have so many interests, and since I was a kid, I was dancing, and I like to be sometimes feeling like a performer because I like to be physical in my body. And also, I've been writing poetry since I was like 9 years old, and it's crazy that I remember like my first poem. Even I remember my first notebook. It had a blue cover, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, if you are writing, go to the dance class. If you are a visual artist, go write a poem. If you're a photographer, I don't know, become a model for a day. Number 6, I would say get out of comfort zone intentionally. So intentionally do things that you're afraid of, that you are not comfortable with. For example, I a couple years, already 3 years ago, started to upload some videos on YouTube because I always felt that I have some sort of like, I feel it actually coming from some trauma, but because it's not really my natural personality, but I've been really shy for years and camera shy for years. I always was afraid to like speak, and like speak to somebody really direct, especially in a group, speak on the camera. And even though I didn't really felt comfortable to record myself, I also got this feeling from the very first video I recorded, which is really funny because I started to record my first videos drunk. And I feel now that it wasn't only for the sake of fun. I feel unconsciously I was trying to reduce the pressure of doing this. And I like it because it's not only putting me in uncomfortable position for me, it also make me to break through some obstacle inside of me that I have. Number 7 is actually your time of your creative process is new experiences. Oh my God, how important it is. I never had a trouble with that because I'm very impulsive. And especially I feel important experience that you enjoyed as you were a child. You literally have to, I feel it's actually an Artist Way book that you have to remember and write down, which is very important, experience that you had as a child. Experiences that you had as a child and go repeat them. I feel it's like super fun. I also, honestly, it's embarrassing to admit for me that, but I'm feeding my inner child sometimes by acting like one. I don't know if I should recommend you that, but sometimes I have this kink. I'm not a shoplifter, but I like to kind of like, I don't know if steal is a big word, but like take little stuff without, oh my God, how this video become a confession. Take a little stuff without permission. Maybe it's stealing too. For example, when I'm like in a coffee shop and if I see like a cute sticker and because it's like right there, on a register, I'm not sure if they're selling those, but a few times I grab those and I feel such a joy from that. Last thing, but not the least, I'm gonna annoy you maybe, but I put meditation as number 8 as a separate one. Listen, I can emphasize how important meditation, and in fact, I need myself a person who would constantly remind me how important is meditation for me and how I need to get into my schedule, which is like, I'm really excited because I'm going to this meditational center. Finally, there's like 2 meditational center next to me and I already went to the first one. I didn't like it there. It was weird vibe. But I'm really excited about second meditation center. And I feel it really, really, how I said about fasting. I need this sort of like a clean slate to start to, managing myself, right? So same with the meditation, I feel I need something exciting, some new slate, like going to meditation center in order to, maybe learn new technique, to start again being very intentional and very disciplined about my meditation. Listen, you can call it for yourself not a meditation. You can just call it for yourself 20 minutes of silence where you sit or lay with open or closed eyes, not sleeping, without the iPad, without the phone, without even a book or any people entertaining you, just like by yourself in a room, 20 minutes staring at one point and trying to calm down your thoughts and hear something bigger than your thoughts, which is your alignment with your own self, with your child, with your desires, and with your creative spark. Little break. So in summary, I think for me, I came to a realization that the most important from all those 8 points is probably going to be stepping out of my comfort, because it kind of also includes new experiences, and this is very important to me for getting a little bit uncomfortable, but also keeping my spark alive. But also just, do things that not super comfortable for me, like recording this video or talk to somebody who intimidating for me or something like that. Just keep myself a little bit challenged. Let this desire to build up. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you have your ways that I didn't mention, okay, I have to finish and open the door for my cat. If you have your own ways how to keep this spark, this desire life, please comment down below. And I'm in my productivity page, on my new productivity page. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and support me on my new wave of productivity. Okay, I better open this door. See how it gets.